There's a new study out that says 25% more married couples are choosing to live alone, yet remain married.
I don't know about this one. It's that whole debate of whether you should just have two separate homes in a marriage. I'm all for having your getaway home, but to live in two separate homes throughout the marriage, you might as well just be friends.
What up, gents? Welcome to TSG Uncut. I'm your host, Sean C. Now, you just saw the opening clip. There is a new trend going on with marriages called living apart together. And what that means is you have more couples who are married are starting to live in separate apartments, but they still remain married. Now, I get it. Some of you all are going to be very resistant to the idea. And I want to go into tonight's episode with an open mind. I'm going to talk about some pros, I'm going to talk about some cons, but before I get to the pros and cons of what I believe about this living apart together, do me a favor before we start, click that like button. I have links down below to the merch here for this channel. Additionally, I have a free video for you to watch for side hustles that you can do in 2023. It costs you absolutely nothing to click the link and watch the video. It's another brother on YouTube who does these side hustles. I want to see you guys win in 2023. And with that being said, let's get started.
It went viral, and it said to live with your partner sounds almost bizarre. Like y'all really like each other that much. And I liked the tweet. I didn't retweet it or nothing. I've never been a huge fan of the let's get married and be around each other all day, every day. I can completely understand how you would want to live in two separate rooms, even two separate homes, and still have a happy marriage. I can see it.
Two separate homes? I'm done.
I would love that.
Guest house and the house connected, and you're like, all right, good night. Go to your separate houses.
My husband and I do not live together. We got married this summer, so we're newlyweds. It has nothing to do with how much we love each other. It's just, right now, it didn't fit into our lives, his life, my life, right?
Yeah.
And so we decided that we would keep our houses separate for the time being. Not meaning that we're never going to live together, but for the time being, we don't live together, and that works for us. When I go to his place, he does everything. I do nothing. When he comes to my place, I do everything. He does nothing. And that's quite cool.
I'll be honest, I really could not believe what this woman was telling me. What's the point of being married if you're going to have separate residences? What's the point of being married if you're going to end up being apart? And we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But you gotta listen to the things that she's saying. There are some very interesting arguments there. Let's check out this next clip.
8 months ago, my husband and I decided to get two different apartments in New York City. We love each other a lot, and for the past 4 years, we basically found ourselves together 24/7. From working from home together, going to the gym, eating all of our meals together, we ended up spending all of our time together with the same friends and kind of becoming this one person instead of two individuals coming together to enhance our lives. We ended up merging our lives to become one. And then we realized that we ended up missing the things that made us fall in love with each other. So we're both really career driven and focused on having big goals and dreams. And we ended up just self-sabotaging all of that because we wanted to hang out with each other instead. Living apart helped us rediscover who we are without relying on the other person to just get comfortable with. There's obviously nothing wrong with cuddling on the couch. You just have to make sure that you are doing things in moderation, which we weren't. So we decided to try living in two different apartments so that we could heal our codependency, rediscover who we are, and bring these new and improved versions of ourselves together again.
When you're so used to having your own place, your own space, and doing things on your own time, when you try to bring in someone else, it is really tough to acclimate to that other person, the way they like things, the way they like things done, what they do with their time and what you do with your time. That's why you hear the argument all the time. People should live together prior to getting married. People should spend some time cohabitating before they get married. Right now, we are seeing people's attention spans go down and down. And I posed this question on the channel before. And the question that I posed was this: can people today, in today's modern society, are they built for the long haul? Are they able to make it 50, 60, 70 years together? I don't think so. I'm starting to believe that this generation isn't built for marriage the way it is currently constructed. Now, one of the arguments that a lot of men make today is that the court systems aren't fair, so men don't want to get married. If you have separate residences and you're maintaining your finances in those residences, other than when you decide to use your funds together, maybe that might be a case to have a solid prenup. If you're already living apart, apart? Wouldn't it be easier to be able to divide assets if you've already had that? Wouldn't a woman who would agree to living apart together, wouldn't she be more likely to sign a prenup if she has something to lose? Her apartment, her car, her stuff?
Hey there, I'm married, and I got separated from my wife about 8 months ago. We had a very passionate, very intense, very exciting, very short married life together. And we're separated, but we're still communicating, we're still dating, we have a beautiful baby boy together. But the interesting thing is we live in separate homes. How do you think it is about married couples living in separate homes? Honestly, I think we love each other. I think we're a great couple in a lot of ways, but we drive each other crazy. Is it okay to be married and live in separate homes?
Nonetheless, I still wouldn't want to live together full time. I think it's detrimental to romantic relationships. I personally just don't want to live with anybody. I really like my space and my alone time. And between the two of us, we have slightly different living styles. It's completely unnecessary to force each other to compromise or live in the other person's style when we're perfectly happy living apart together.
All right, gents, I told you guys that I was going to give you my pros and my cons. It is easy for someone my age to look at this and say, hey man, this is crazy. Like, if you're gonna be married, why would you live apart? And that is one of the cons that I'm talking about. One of the pros is you get to kind of maintain some semblance of who you are, who you were when you got together. Some people get lost in marriage. Some people become codependent. And that becomes one of the cons. Not having that person around. A person can start to feel isolated. A person can start to feel lonely. Now, another con that I have, you have two separate households. All this income going to maintaining two separate houses that could have been used to build up the family, could have been used to build up wealth. But the pro to that is that if you're taking care of your own finances, then you're able to manage your money the way you want to manage it. Another con is that you don't always have that quick access to that person. And that can get a little tough sometimes. The pro is that when you need to get stuff done, you can do it on your time. If you want to stay up all night and play Call of Duty, you can do it. If you want to go ahead and go have a golf outing with the boys, you don't have to worry about those dirty looks. You don't have to worry about where you're going, what you're doing. When you have people who are very used to being independent like this generation is today, maybe the best way to be able to get them into these marriage unions, in which case they might have two separate houses, but you would probably have a greater cooperation to be able to keep care of the kids if they decide to have kids together. That would be the only division of assets that would be the hardest thing. And I hate to call a child an asset, but you all get what I mean. Whatever you feel about this topic, I will tell you personally, as a man who loves having his own space, who needs his own space to be able to do the things I do, to work on my purpose in my business, to me, it would be a great idea. The thing that is going to stop this thing in its tracks from this being a good idea is how will the law accept this? Question of the day. Do you think living apart together is a good idea for this generation? Do you think that living apart together, if the laws kept it equitable for men, is a good idea going forward? Is your attention span the same as it used to be? Do you being able to see yourself being with someone until you pass away, till you expire? Or do you just think that marriage is completely done, that there is no reason for it? There is so much more to explore in this topic. I want to hear from you. Leave your comments down below. And until next time, live your best life.